Start came to the fore at some point in the game.
Well, penalties. We saw Riyad Mahrez, who's not involved in the game but is here with Manchester City, who missed that penalty which looked fateful at the time at Anfield, which would have given City an away win. They've ground where they've struggled to get away wins, but in the end they slugged it out really, and it didn't. He actually scored in the last game when they clinched the title from a very good free kick. But who are going to be the penalty takers here? Mo Salah would, you would expect, be on the list.
Well, they had their problems defensively in that first half. I thought they tried to hold a too high a line. They didn't see danger, Liverpool, particularly the full-backs. But it all changed in that second half because the closing down higher up the field was much better, and the midfield players were on the front foot, so the back four didn't have to do so much defending. They could see the picture much earlier.
Just to tell you that when they beat Chelsea here, wasn't it February, in the League Cup, the Carabao Cup final, Gundogan, Aguero scored, Bernardo Silva scored, and Sterling scored. But Leroy Sané, who was injured very early, he had a penalty saved. And that was the day when Chelsea seemed to want to substitute their goalkeeper before the shootout, but didn't. And I'll give you another little bit of information, because I was at the shootout in Shanghai. Gundogan saved. David Silva, who's gone off, saved. Danilo, who's not playing, scored. Aleix Garcia, who came back into the squad, scored, but Lucas Nemecha, who's also been with them in the pre-season, his was saved, and Wolves scored all their penalties and they won that. So I don't know whether that tells us anything at all. It doesn't. It's another day, it's another shootout, and it's bags of drama to come with it.
Two different approaches from the coaches on the side. Pep Guardiola got his team in a huddle, gave them I imagine, excuse the pun, a pep talk. Liverpool very relaxed. They can be very happy with their second half performance.
Kyle Walker taking over the captaincy, and David Silva went off.
Well, when we were talking about future captains of Man City, we didn't mention Walker. I would have thought he would be a good candidate.
Yeah, an experienced player. But as I say, when Pep Guardiola says the players will decide, whether he meant they'll decide by their shows of leadership through the pre-season or whether they'll actually vote for it, wasn't quite clear. Of course, we have two ends to Wembley. One end is a Liverpool end and one end is the Manchester City end, and it's the Liverpool end where the penalties are going to be taken. Now, of course, we've got this also, the goalkeeping regulation has changed. 1 foot has to be on the line or directly above the line.
How you judge that would be very difficult.
And strangely, Stuart, I'm told from those in the know that it's to give the goalkeepers an advantage, because it cancels out what the lawmakers think is an advantage when you stutter in the run-up to take a penalty and score. I've not met a goalkeeper yet, and I've discussed it with a few, who thinks it's an advantage to be able to put 1 foot in front of the other, because you can only go one way if you push off, and it telegraphs it. Anyway, we'll see. Wembley awaits.
Shaqiri is the first player to come up for Liverpool. Hasn't been on the field that long.
Had half a chance at the end.
Bravo's been magnificent for Man City. Don't suppose he's going to get too many chances this season with Ederson.
He was the goalkeeper in the shootout against Wolves, and he saved a couple. So the start of the penalty shootout to determine the outcome of the Community Shield. 90 excellent minutes didn't bring a divide. This is how it will be settled, and first to step up is Xherdan Shaqiri, and he does the job for Liverpool.
Well, you won't get a better penalty than that. Dent with power into the corner. Bravo going the wrong way. It's another sub making his way forward here. And it's Gundogan, who didn't play particularly well when he came on,
but has scored a penalty at this end of Wembley in a Champions League final for Borussia Dortmund. Bayern Munich. So he shouldn't be fazed, and he isn't. 1-1 in the shootout.
And he comes on a very big angle and wraps his foot round it. Alisson goes the wrong way. He'd gone the right way. It was a nice height for him.
Here is Wijnaldum. A little bit of gamesmanship. Bravo coming out and then going back on the line. Assistant watching closely. And he saves it. Bravo saves. And it turns Manchester City's way. Bravo!
Well, we talk about the height of penalties. So often that's the key. And it's a nice height for Bravo. He just gets that trailing hand on it. It's the top hand that makes the save in the end. It's too close to him. He might be trying to go down the middle.
Here's Bernardo Silva. Yes. So advantage now, Manchester City. Adam Lallana makes a long walk as we look at the successful spot kick from the Portugal international.
He took it quite quickly as well, didn't he? Didn't really give Alisson too much time to think about it.
Players practice their penalties in training, but it's so impossible to replicate the walk forward at a full Wembley and the responsibility that this moment entails. Adam Lallana. Ooh, he was close.
Got to go back to the point. If it's low, it's more difficult for the goalkeeper to save. He chooses the right way. He's got 1 foot on the line. It's that high, he just can't get to it.
Well, Phil Foden is no longer a boy doing a man's job. He's fully fledged in many ways. Test of his nerve, and he passes the test with flying colours. Still advantage Manchester City.
And at the moment, Alisson hasn't chosen the right way on any of the penalties. Good one from Phil Foden.
Here's the man with the Community Shield pedigree. 3 times the winner with Arsenal. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Probably in all those 3 games he played different positions. Wing back, central midfield, right winger.
Here goes the Ox. He fires it into the roof of the net. So they're not yet there, Manchester City.
Most of the players have actually wrapped their foot round it and hit it into the opposite corner rather than passing it into the other side. So they've played across their front foot. I think nearly every penalty's been that way.
Alexander Zinchenko. They've been 100% Manchester City so far. And Alisson go the right way this time. He did, but he couldn't keep it out.
It's another penalty that goes across the standing foot. It's a nice height for the goalkeeper. I think he'd be disappointed he doesn't make the save here. He should save that, Alisson. That's a big, big chance for the goalkeeper to save that.
But if Mo Salah fails here, it's City's shield. Had mixed fortunes with his penalties in Liverpool colours. Here he comes, and here he scores, and Liverpool are still alive, but it might not be for much longer.
Let's It's the first one, I think, that's being placed the opposite side to the standing foot. Puts his foot right behind it, no chance for Bravo.
Well, the chance to win it for Manchester City is handed to Gabriel Jesus.
And I don't think he played the game with great confidence, Jesus.
Is this the winning moment? It is! Here they go again, Manchester City on the trophy trail right from the off. Tough on Liverpool, who pushed them all the way. But City's record at Wembley continues apace. They had a pretty harrowing last half an hour of the game in which they lost their lead, but they kept their nerve, Stuart, and their penalties were faultless.
And you have to say that Bravo had a magnificent game all round. He saved the one penalty that was saved, passing out from the back, made a lot of saves in that second half as well as 2 or 3 in the first half. He was brilliant and good to see him back. He had a terrible first season at Manchester City, then he got himself injured, but he's shown that he is a top quality goalkeeper. Not everybody believes that in England.
Pep Guardiola invariably has words with opposing players at the end of games, usually when he's won the games, and usually he does win. But there's a lot of good spirit between these two clubs.
And respect, I would say.
Yes, and rightly so. They're at the top of the tree, but there could have been only one winner today, and this was the moment that decided it. A bit of cheek about it as well.
Lack of confidence, did I say, throughout the game? Certainly not on that occasion. Not that good a penalty in terms of where it went, but that slight stutter just stopped Alisson in his tracks.
Well, Brazilian against Brazilian to decide it, as the top two in England have been at it full on. And that Wijnaldum penalty that was saved in the end, and Gabriel Jesus wrapping it up, were the deciding moments. He's still on his tour of the opposition. And we will see them head to head in the Premier League. Can't wait for that. And maybe, you never know, in other competitions as well. But Liverpool, unlucky losers.
But I don't think they'd be disappointed with the game itself.
In the way, you can say they don't lose the game. It's finished level, hasn't it?
Yeah. They're disappointed they haven't got the trophy, but they'll be very pleased with their second half performance. They'll take a lot of confidence from that, because they outplayed Man City in that second half. They stopped them playing out from the back, they stopped them dominating possession, and they created chance after chance themselves.
So 3.5 years on from the League Cup final, which City took that trophy from Jurgen Klopp as well via a penalty shootout. Gone the same way again here. And I think it's fair to say, Stuart, that neither side deserved to lose over 90 minutes. City had the better of the first half. Possibly if you'd scored it on a points decision, taking an analogy from boxing, you might have given it to Liverpool because they came on strong at the end. But in the end, they couldn't find that winning goal. That Kyle Walker clearance was, well, the margin in the end that got Manchester City the chance to go over the line from the shootout.
Well, there was a couple of pre-season games.
That was probably the weakest penalty, wasn't it? Zinchenko's penalty. Yeah. And but it found its target, the back of the Liverpool net.
Well, there were one or two people that were saying